Tonight, finally, you'll hear from the PUC, but the news might not be what you were hoping for. You'll see why. And the independent senators speak out. They demand that the PUC act to preserve competition. Also, we'll tell you about a murder in La Democracia. Plus, we'll take you on a tour of the fully refurbished National Assembly building and tell you why the budget shot up from $1.5 million to $5.8 million. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Every major road network in urban and rural communities, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Houses road maintenance units are doing the work and making a difference. But this program is much more than just cleaning roadsides and patching potholes to enhance road safety. And it is much more than picking up garbage dumped illegally or thrown from passing vehicles. This program is about providing steady, stable employment to Belizeans in every district and giving them the opportunity to positively impact their communities.
This present government here, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Housing, has created a unit which we call the Road Maintenance Unit.
Well, we work for MIDH. We do road maintenance. We take care from the boundary of Orange Rock, Corozal to the border.
That is a normal routine, chopping and leave the place clean, make the tractor can pass. No stone, no iron, nothing, no sign is in the way for the tractor man.
We maintain the culverts for self-repair for when the storm comes, pick up the garbage that is all around. So when storm comes, the open drains are clean so water can flow good.
We patch up the streets and maintain it clear, right? Like patch it with premix and tar and stuff like that. The entire Corozal district.
Every day we do like chip and seal. We patch the road, like cut out the hole and put premix in the hole, put tar first.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Shirley Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Get ready for fantastic discounts. From now through to September 30th, Venice is having store-wide discounts on tools, paints, appliances, plumbing and electrical products, lights and fans, household items, and much, much more. Visit a Venice store near you to enjoy fantastic discounts from now through to September 30th, only at Venice. Quality and savings.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
I sit at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
And what is the Prime Minister's pleasure? Could it be sealing the deal on an acquisition that will make his family $18 million richer? And why has Chairman Bacon gotten such a lucrative contract to the tune of almost $400,000 a year?
So if the Prime Minister thinks that I'm not doing his job.
But you're doing his job, aren't you? Chairman Bacon is the first chairman in history to be given a fireproof clause. He was appointed for 5 years. Why give him that kind of protection?
The Brisenians to stop exploiting this country and stop saddle Belizeans with debt for your own self-enrichment.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
President, His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali, my friend, welcome to Belize. Your visit, the first state visit by a president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, is history-making.
Belize and Guyana share many things in common. Culture, common history. Both of us want to learn from the past, and both of us want to share what knowledge we have with each other to the shared prosperity, friendship, and warmth of our two countries. I believe that this is just the beginning of a deeper relationship.
From the moment of our arrival, my delegation and I have felt not only the warmth, but the easy familiarity of a Caribbean family welcoming one of its own. I am deeply honored to have been invited on a state visit to this magnificent country, an expression of the highest respect between sovereign nations, and a moment to reaffirm the bonds that connect our peoples, our institutions, and our shared aspirations.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
On every major road network, in urban and rural communities, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Houses road maintenance units are doing the work and making a difference. But this program is much more than just cleaning roadsides and patching potholes to enhance road safety. And it is much more than picking up garbage dumped illegally or thrown from passing vehicles. This program is about providing steady, stable employment to Belizeans in every district and giving them the opportunity to positively impact their communities.
This present government here, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing has created a unit which we call the Road Maintenance Unit.
Well, we work for MIDH. We do road maintenance. We take care from the boundary of Orange Rock, Corozal to the border.
That is a normal routine, chopping and leave the place clean, make the tractor can pass. No stone, no iron, nothing, no sign is in the way for the tractor, man.
We maintain the culverts for sub-repair for when the storm comes, pick up the garbage that is all around. So when storm comes, the open drains are clean so water can flow good.
We patch up the streets and maintain it clear, right? Like patch it with premix and tar and stuff like that. The entire Corozal district.
Every day we do like chip and seal. We patch the road, like cut out the hole there and put premix in the hole, put tar first, then put in the premix. And we maintain the bus shed there, cut out the bus shed there, make sure people safe. I think when they go bus shed there, could breathe some fresh air. We pick up the garbage there along the highway, and we maintain from Malante to Belize City, from the George Price, and from the Philip Golson, we go all the way to Cooking Tree. And we
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Last night they sent out a press release, and today the Public Utilities Commission held a press conference, but without Chairman Dean Molina. The purpose of the press conference was to explain last night's release and the limits of it. It was about a public consultation on assessment of dominance in telecommunications markets, and it turns out it doesn't have much or anything really to do with the proposed acquisition of SpeedNet. Internal Legal Counsel Stacey Greenidge and Sheena Garnett, Communications and Consumer Affairs, explained.
We may have interpreted in our haste and excitement as being somehow influential on the ongoing BTL SpeedNet talks of a merger/acquisition. However, this exercise to establish if there is a dominant provider in the market is completely apart and aside from the discussions for a merger and acquisition.
That's correct. This is a completely distinct regulatory tool and procedure that we are undertaking.
What we can speak on right now is that we had received that document, and that document, there's been a lot of changes from that initial document, and so we need to just receive whatever is that final submission from the party that is interested for the proposed acquisition.
That is a current and active matter before the Commission, and as such we are prohibited from having any public discussions about that. But I can say that what is before the PUC is an agreement for the purchase of shares.
But it cannot stop a merger/acquisition.
So, Jules, to answer your question, if this public consultation on the assessment of the telecom sector's market dominance assessment, what this public consultation does not do, it does not approve, reject, or put any penalties. It doesn't approve, reject any mergers, any acquisitions, or any transactions, any at all. This public consultation is clear on not doing those things. What it does is it allowed us to look at the market, and this public consultation document and review has been in place way before the realization of a proposed acquisition. And so what it does is we need to put things in place. We need to continue, as Ms. Stacey said, and identify the markets and the changes in the markets. And this is a legal tool, this is a legal structure that we can use for it.
Chairman Molina said he could not present himself for any interview so that there could be no appearance of bias. And while the PUC holds its cards very close to its chest, they got called out to do more at a press conference held by the 4 independent senators this afternoon. Labour Senator Glenfield Dennison expressed his discontent with the PUC's late response to the acquisition of SMART. Moreover, why had they not acted prior when discussions were taking place?
PUC, stop playing, man. Stop play. I think in the play, I think they missed that this discussion ought not to have been happening about whether or not BTL will buy SMART and then invite the PUC. PUC ought to have been at the front of this.
Right.
They not to ratify a decision for one dominant actor to buy out somebody with less market share. They were to lead that conversation after they determined whether or not that's in the best interest of the industry, not after.
Dennison stressed that the PUC has a central role to ensure that there is competition within the market as regulators.
I don't want to lose the role of PUC in this.
Yes.
Right? They put out a really nice release saying that they are going to be looking at market dominance. And so let's be very clear. I think the man is a lawyer, right? Go back and read the legislation, sir. Start with the preamble of the Telecoms Act and understand that competition is where you start, right? Don't ask the Belizean people what they think about a dominance position. You go and you do what the law says you must do in order to determine whether or not they're dominant. And understand and appreciate that your role, sir, is not to create a dominant actor and then regulate it. Your role is to create the market environment so that competition thrives and in a situation where through competition, one dominant provider kills the competition, fair and square. That is where your power to regulate and price cap ought to come in. So don't come to us, sir, and sirs at the PUC like only to help the Belizean people. If you want help, the help we want is competition. And where competition results in one player, then you regulate them.
And if GOB does decide to proceed with the monopoly, it's going to require a few policy shifts and a stamp of approval coming from the National Assembly. But the Prime Minister says no approval is needed from the National Assembly, but instead only a change in legislation that protects consumers. The senators claimed and chimed in that he can act on his own. The only thing is whether it will be legal.
Well, the 42.4 is very, very clear in terms of how far they can go, and you cannot do anything. No player can do anything that significantly lessens that competition. If they do, then they're violating the act.
Besides change regulations, to change a substantive act, I believe you do have to go to the House of Representatives.
They teach us in law school that you could do anything you want, right? The question is whether it's lawful. And so that's how I will answer your question, Marisol. The Prime Minister is correct. He can do it. The PUC can do it. They can do it. I think they intend to do it. I think that is the intention, and this is what the people of Belize need to understand. That once the ink has already dried and monies has already been transferred, no court in this country can then go back and say to BTL, give back smart. Reverse that. DG will then be too big to fail, to be penalized, you tax yourself. So when you then come and say, oh, I'm going to do this and it was illegal, the remedy then will just be what? Pay the fine.
Church Senator Louis Wade shared his views on the PUC's standing, stating that history may repeat itself if BTL becomes a monopoly.
To me, like, PUC is losing its standing in the public's eyes, because PUC is only now coming public with their first temporary position and making requests, when people have already now been protesting in front of telemedia. And so this is why I am saying that you have a problem where the perception that PUC is government controlled because it is government appointed. So now, rather than PUC take a bold step forward, it has waited so long that it looks as if it's waiting on a signal from cabinet, or it's waiting on a signal from the government-owned private entity BTL. And so it does need to shift, because if BTL is not yet a monopoly and it's already causing PUC to slow down and not carry out its role, how will PUC act when BTL becomes a monopoly? And we've been there. The world was ahead of us. Because PUC and the BTL, you have this monopoly, government and government control, and so they are not acting in the best interest of the people of Belize. They're not acting in the best interest of the economy. They were acting in best interest of the shareholders. And this has happened over and over and over.
Business Senator Kevin Herrera also weighed in, maintaining that the Telecommunications Act was modeled on a liberalized telecoms market, and that is a policy set in stone.
I think we have spoken out on this issue on several occasions. The issue I have and have had since the potential merger was announced is simply that I don't believe that this country should go back to a monopoly in this manner. I think that for 20, 25 years, like what my colleague said, it has been policy, and that policy has been well documented and enshrined in the Belize Telecommunications Act. And that entire act was built on a liberalized telecoms market. And so, to me, it seems like a massive misfit, if you, so to speak, in terms of having players in the market decide that they will unilaterally take us back to a monopoly, when the entire act, the entire policy of the country has been based on liberalization. And so, in my view, I think that there's a tremendous difficulty that BTL or anyone, including the Public Utilities Commission, will have in taking us through, given how the Telecommunications Act is structured. And so I believe that that is really where I am on the issue. I know that there are many, many other issues related to it. I think that, there are serious questions related to those who are proposing and promoting this acquisition.
The Telecoms Act seeks to encourage competition, and Denison warns that the public should be mindful that once there is no reason to compete, Belizeans can kiss some of those great marketing deals goodbye.
Competition is not to be regulated, it is to be encouraged. That is the standard, and I think I invite, I think PUC care what I think. I invite the members of the PUC to shift your lens away from thinking that the answer is regulating a dominant actor in telecoms. The starting point should and must always be that competition and rivalry is what should be driving the telecoms industry. So I asked my Belizean people, how much I want to like double up? I could be clear. A lot of them want to give that, that is what competition does. So if you like social media bundles and talk the night with the one the night, you could talk whole night on data, you know, night shift. Those things are a direct response to competition in the market. BTL never just wake up one day and decide they are being nice to the Belizean people and just give it data bundles so when I have to eat out credit. That was them saying, hey, if we don't innovate, if we don't create an environment where we will be the choice of consumers, then we will die. And then Smart responded with quadruple up, remember that? Couldn't sustain it very long. But that is what free market does. And so I want to invite the Belizean people to just imagine now where we would go without that sort of incentive.
NGO Senator Chanona lamented the shortage of information around the proposed acquisition and urged the public to do their research and make an informed decision on how GOB's next move can impact the economy.
I fervently believe that there are very many questions that need to be addressed. I think certainly from our organization, our members have said we do not have enough information to take a position on this. So we cannot support something if we do not feel that we are making an informed decision. You know, what comes next, you know, how, as has been alluded to, what does the playing field look like? How do we make sure that we're safeguarded? And I think this also represents an opportunity, and I want to underscore the importance of the media on this in terms of the free and independent press, asking the questions, going back to the archives, looking at the legislation, but also to encourage the average citizen. When we want to find out things and who they with whom they were, we know how to do that perfectly well, FBI level, if not better. So how do we make sure that as citizens, it is not weaponized, that the information was available, that the information does exist in places where we can get it and wade through that information so that if that information is not being readily provided, that we can be accountable to ourselves, that we read the legislation, and if we had questions, we raised that with whomever we could have.
Yet if the acquisition was to be consummated, Dennison maintains that the consequences will have long-term implications. He describes this decision as an irreversible transaction that cannot be undone overnight.
So we have to stop this before it goes ahead. And so I am calling for public outcry against what could possibly be an irreversible transaction that could cause, you know, monopolies are used by dictators to control their population, right? I'm an advocate for free speech.
Yes.
So and I kind of, I got a thing in my brain where I pretend like I'm very sinister and I try to see things through in a very sinister way. And I have seen in my mind the sinisterness that I, Glenfield Dennison, can cause on the people of Belize if I'm in charge of a telecoms monopoly like BTL having acquired Smart. I tell you, my mind says it is dangerous because, trade union Congress, no want have one protest tomorrow, none on the phone now work. No want shut down things that PG, that Stan Creek, none of the cell towers, no one give signal. Me, but I kind of evil, right? And I have evil thoughts sometimes. Maybe the people at BTL are not evil like me and would never wish to do things like that, perhaps. But that doesn't change the fact that the power will be there.
And to keep up the pressure on the Social Security Board, which has not yet voted to support the acquisition, tomorrow the UDP plans to protest in front of the SSB Belize City office where the board will be meeting. Senator Dennison says they are still awaiting SSB to speak up on their position, given that they are the 1/3 owner of BTL. He says they have a duty to let people know where they stand.
We are considering, and we are as a Congress at the stage where we're hitting the streets now. And so the call on Social Security Board is, as we see it, and this is my legal position, is that Social Security Board, being a shareholder, has in law standing to go before the Supreme Court for an injunctive relief whenever they feel like the BTL is not acting in their best interest. And so we want to urge Social Security Board to pay attention, and notwithstanding the fact that majority of the members are appointed by the government, you have a fiduciary duty to the workers of Belize. And so the appeal to Social Security Board to take a position is rooted in the fact that they are putting workers' monies at risk when they do something like this. And so that's where we start, because they have the best standing as, I think, 1/3 shareholder of Digi to make an official position known on where they stand as one of the larger shareholders.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, stay tuned, because later on in the news, we'll take you on a tour of the newly refurbished National Assembly building. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Belizeans, once again the government has refused to listen to the people. Despite warnings from workers, businesses, and civil society, they are still pushing ahead. On Wednesday, February 4th, SSB meets to decide on the acquisition of SMART, and we will be there. Join us in front of Social Security, Belize City, at 8 a.m. to demand one clear decision: no to BTL acquiring SMART. The board must represent the people, not political pressure. Stop the deal. Protect Belize.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology. It's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Remember when Senator Bacon was still a senator? He spoke about transparency and honesty.
If you don't have anything to hide, why don't you bring it to light?
So why did Chairman Bacon hide this? The first ever employment contract for a chairman, locked in for 5 years with a salary nearly $400,000 a year.
Remember, BTL is owned by the people of Belize.
So while you struggle with high rates, he collects nearly $400,000 a year and gets paid even if he's no longer a director of the company. So even though everyone wants him gone,
NTUCB members wanted to demand Chairman Mark Lizarraga's resignation.
Chairman Lizarraga needs to go.
Bacon ain't giving up that fat salary. And even if he's removed, he still gets paid.
I sit at the pleasure of the Prime Minister.
Because that's how Chairman Bacon rolls.
Registering a child's birth is a vital step for parents and guardians, and now it's easier than ever. With the new Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS, you can register online or at any Civil Registry Department and Vital Statistics Unit office near you. Who can register a birth? Married parents. Either of you can register. Just bring your marriage certificate. Single mothers. You can register alone as long as the father's name isn't being added to the birth certificate. Unmarried parents. Either parent can register with a signed consent form from the other. Download the consent form from the VSU website. It's quick and easy. Required documents. For all birth registrations, you'll need a copy of your ID. The new CRVS, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit crvs.gov.bz today to register your child's birth.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
A safer Belize begins with all of us, and the Belize Police Department is taking bold steps to build that future together. The new 2025-2029 Crime Control and Crime Prevention Strategy is transforming policing from the ground up, reforming practices, rebuilding trust, and strengthening accountability. With investments in modern technology, upgraded infrastructure, and smart data-driven tools, Officers will respond faster, work smarter, and endeavor to keep communities safer. This plan puts community partnership at its core. It will require more engagement, result in more transparency, and introduce new programs that support our youth, prevent violence, and promote second chances. From fighting gang violence and illegal firearms to confronting emerging threats like cybercrime, the BPD is building stronger, smarter, more specialized teams to protect every Belizean. And with enhanced training and leadership development, our officers are better prepared than ever to serve with integrity and professionalism. The Belize Police Department is rebuilding, reforming, and renewing its commitment to you. Together, we can create a safer, stronger Belize.
Champion security, champion security, champion security. Yeah. Your security is our business, so we gonna protect you like a champion, like a champion.
Guess what, Mr. Handsome? Yeah, over there, Champion Security. This is the place to be. What does sign say? Champion Security. Here at Champion Security, we provide quality service. You know why? Such as triology lock, fire alarm, IP camera system, gate operator, biometric lock, and alarm system. Champion Security. Make a go check out where they go on inside of Champion Security. And boy, nice to meet you, my brother. Tell me a little bit more about Champion Security.
Well, welcome, Mr. Handsome. Here at Champion Security, we offer fire system, alarm system, camera system, gate operator, access control, and also trilogy locks and magnetic locks. Everything you need to do with security systems for residential and businesses, you could find everything here at Champion Security. We also consist of 12 technicians, and we offer technical support 24 hours. So anything you need for your security systems, you could find everything here at Champion Security.
Remember, guys, here at Champion Security, we live by our motto, where safe stay is our business. Give us a call now. Don't forget to check us on Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media platforms. And continue to shake it to the max all the way. Champion Security, the best place to be. We care for your safety.
You want to rent it, it's not a problem. We got remote gate.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
There was a murder this afternoon in La Democracia village where a man named Paul Smith was shot and killed. Smith was walking down a road when his killer jumped out of the bushes and fired shots after him and another man. Smith, who had a machete in his hand at the time, was transported to the Western Regional Hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries. Reports are that Smith had a long-standing beef with his cousin, plus the main suspect allegedly shot Smith's mother some years ago. There are a total of 4 men detained. Darnian Garcia, the 29-year-old former U.S. Army officer who allegedly shot a police, appeared in the Belize City Magistrates Court today before Chief Magistrate Deborah Rogers. His behavior was highly erratic, as noted by court observers. Garcia, who was discharged from the U.S. military in 2020, faces multiple charges, including harm to Jamisha Gentle, 2 counts of keeping a firearm without a license, 2 counts of keeping ammunition without a license, attempted murder of police constables Marvin McCoy, Ali Petch, and his ex, Jamisha Gentle, and damage to a government vehicle. The Chief Magistrate directed that Garcia undergo a psychiatric evaluation after he stated in court that he did not understand any of the charges. She also made him know that because of that, she couldn't take his plea. The judge noted that Garcia had been prescribed psychiatric medication, which he stopped taking in July of 2025 when he arrived in Belize. Garcia first made headlines in the same month of July when a small arsenal of weapons was discovered in his possession at the northern border during a routine customs inspection. He was charged but later released on bail. Police reports state that the latest incident occurred on Sunday, February 1st, 2026 in Ladyville Village. Around 3:30 a.m., a 27-year-old woman reported being assaulted and pursued by Garcia. When officers attempted to detain him, he initially fled. During the police response, a vehicle transporting the female came under fire. Police then apprehended Garcia while he was in possession of a 9mm Smith & Wesson pistol with 14 rounds, a bag containing 6 additional 9mm rounds, and an AR-15 rifle with 37 rounds of 5.56 ammunition. Hopkins police are investigating an apparent double suicide which occurred in the village. Two Americans from Texas, a mother and son, 72-year-old Barbara Masters and 48-year-old William Moore, appeared to have taken their own lives inside the houseboat by hanging. Police found no signs of forced entry or that there had been a struggle. Additionally, the mother-son duo had told a friend last week that they planned to do so. A note was left behind for a male villager who they left their few assets to. The mother and son were reportedly drug and alcohol abusers, and the home was littered with bottles of extra strong rum. They had moved to Belize some 5 years ago, but eventually ran out of money and sold off their assets, according to reports. At the time of their passing, the house did not have electricity. Police continue to investigate. The Ministry of Health and Wellness urges anyone in need of assistance with suicidal thoughts to call 880-2325. As we told you in our top segment, agitation by the social partners against the BTL acquisition of SpeedNet continues, and tomorrow all eyes turn to the Social Security Office in Belize City, where the UDP will be protesting. And the NTUCB was supposed to be joining them, but they were denied a protest permit. President Ella Wade told us that they applied for a permit but were denied via phone call on the basis that the UDP is getting its permit for the same place, same time. Wade told us that she views it as a restriction on their rights, as their application was denied over the phone with no written explanation. Nevertheless, they will be attending the UDP protest tomorrow. Here's what she said in a Facebook Live video where she called on everyone to come out.
My request to you is to please stop going behind your phones and your tablets and your computers and typing, putting in yes, I support and solidarity and the NTUCB should do this and do that. Once you work, you're a member NTUCB. Because we represent workers, not just unionized workers, but all workers of this country. So you are NTUCB. So when you say, what is the NTUCB doing and you're not doing anything, we don't do anything. You must get out there, even if it's for 10 minutes, stand with us. Stand with us for 10 minutes so that we can show that we have the support of workers to say no to passing or to no to this acquisition at this point. This has nothing to do with party politics. This has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with you and me, taxpayers of this country, and you and me being included in decisions that will impact us later on in life. So with that, I would like to invite you to join us tomorrow in Belize City in front of the Social Security Board office, where we'll be protesting, encouraging the Social Security Board directors to stay the course and ensure that they protect our money. And if we decide to go out on Friday to demonstrate in front of the National Assembly, they join us as well. If we do not take a stand today, if we do not stop this right now, this acquisition, it may be too late, weeks from now or months from now, when we realize that we have no control. We have no control over our telecom industry. And thank you so much for taking the few minutes to listen to me. And I ask again your support. Support you, support us, support the NTUCB, support workers of this country.
The protest tomorrow is set to begin at 8 a.m. in the morning. Earlier in the news, we showed you how the PUC finally met with the media, even if the chairman, Dean Molina, backed out and sent his junior staffers to withstand the media's questions. They explained that the public consultation on assessment of dominance in telecommunications markets really doesn't have much to do with them approving or not approving the SpeedNet acquisition. Well, we interviewed with former PUC Chairman John Avery today, who says that the PUC is essentially facilitating and making the way for this merger to become a reality, which is unlawful. Avery, who chaired the PUC for 12 and a half years today, told us that the PUC should not have even entertained the idea of the merger.
My point I'm making is that the PUC does not belong in this thing any at all. The PUC can, in fact, authorize the sale of SpeedNet to someone else, but not to BTL. Nothing in this act says that the PUC is to encourage an operator, especially a dominant operator, eliminating its competition. So, like I say, it's only to alleviate certain concerns that people have raised with regards to BTL taking advantage of its position. They're saying, well, we will pass laws that BTL cannot increase its rates without our approval. That is what they're doing. But it has nothing to do with the acquisition.
So with or without the acquisition, they could still do that?
They can still do that once there's a dominant. You can do it all over the country. Because, like I said, there are a lot of small operators that they're the only one providing service in certain areas. So they are sole providers or dominant provider in those areas. Will the PUC then go and set rates for them? I don't know that this is what the PUC wants to get into, but it seems to me that this is just a move to alleviate concerns about BTL as a monopoly. But in my opinion, it is totally unrelated to this acquisition. PUC, but if they're to implement what the law says, they have no business in approving the purchase of SpeedNet by BTL. If SpeedNet wants to sell to someone else, PUC by law can approve that. But PUC should not get involved with BTL trying to acquire SpeedNet.
All right, and so what are they doing by showing that they want to suddenly designate BTL ahead of the proposed merger?
It says to me that they're trying to facilitate the merger, which is they're acting contrary to the charge that the law puts on them.
All right.
They're abdicating their responsibility under the law, basically.
And so what is your opinion of the individuals that are part of the PUC? You know, they're appointed by the Prime Minister.
I won't make any assessment of an individual on the PUC. That is for someone else to decide. I'm telling you, as a collective body, the PUC, not pointing to any one individual, your job under this act is to regulate the sector, implement the policy of government, promote fair competition, that sort of thing. You are not doing what the law says you should be doing by facilitating an acquisition of SpeedNet by BTL.
We'll have more of that interview tomorrow. And with more on the proposed acquisition, the Belize Business Bureau, they may be just a shell organization whose main purpose is to advance pro-government positions, but this morning they came out swinging in support of the SpeedNet acquisition. A release praises the economics of acquisition and calls it a, quote, sound economic business proposal. They close with a resounding endorsement of a monopoly marketplace, saying, quote, competition destroys profits. Both Smart and BTL whittled down their incomes from roaming and other income streams, fighting each other to the bottom, end quote. BBB's President Arturo Lizarraga sits on the Social Security Board of Directors. And going back to our interview with Julius Espat yesterday, does the Cayo South representative have his community development fund receipts? He says he does, and that it's all been sent to the Ministry of Finance. Espat told us what he's been using his funds for.
Well, all the information goes to the Ministry of Finance. The way the system is set up, you present a project and you give them a budget of the project, and then they allocate the funds for you to complete the project. You cannot get additional funds if your documentation does not go in. So the Ministry of Finance is in possession of all the documentation for all the area reps. It depends on where you are. That's the use of it. In Kaya South, for example, we use it a lot for, we did community centers, we have done sporting facilities, we are helping with schools. We're putting it to infrastructure which is needed in a rural community. In the urban areas, I think it's a little bit different. So each constituency is a little different in how they use the funds.
Espat's constituency received $20,000 monthly for its community development fund. And we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take you on a tour of the fully transformed National Assembly building. Don't go away.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
The Public Utilities Commission advises the public that it has conducted a comprehensive review of market conditions in the telecommunications sector, and as part of this process, has prepared an initial determination outlining the preliminary findings on whether any licensee may hold a position of market dominance in accordance with Section 42 of the Belize Telecommunications Act. This assessment is evidence-based and forward-looking and is intended to safeguard consumers and other users of telecommunications services by identifying where competitive limitations may be scarce to prevent risks such as excessive pricing, reduced service quality, limited choices, and unfair treatment. In conducting this assessment, the PUC reviewed regional and international regulatory approaches to guide localized assessment under Belize's legislative framework. The initial determination identifies the relevant telecommunication markets as follows. Retail markets include services supplied directly to end users, including fixed, mobile, and bundled offerings. Wholesale markets include services and facilities supplied on a non-retail basis provided to other licensees or users under conditions different from standard retail offerings. Additionally, this determination is structured to support informed public engagement and includes 11 consultation questions to obtain stakeholder feedback. The document on public consultation, Initial Determination on Market Dominance, can be viewed in its entirety at www.puc.bz. The PUC invites written comments from all interested parties, including licensees, consumers, consumer representatives, and the general public. Comments should be submitted to info@puc.bz by 4 p.m. on March 2nd, 2026, and include in the subject line, comments, initial determination on market dominance.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The family of 3 deceased American tourists, 26-year-old El Arar, 23-year-old Kitara Nakad, and 24-year-old Imani Mala, are suing Royal Kahal Beach Resort for $100 million in damages. Officials found that they died of carbon monoxide poisoning, likely caused by a faulty instant water heater. According to the complaint, the resort's suit in question lacked a functional carbon monoxide detector system and alleges that these failures were the result of negligent design, installation, supervision, and oversight, as well as the use of unqualified contractors to install hazardous equipment. The action names a board group of defendants, including the resort's Canadian owners and developers, Belizean contractors involved in the installation of the gas system, the U.S.-based manufacturer of the water heater, and U.S.-based online travel platforms through which the women booked their stay. The complaint alleges that these defendants actively marketed the resort to U.S. consumers, conducted substantial business in Massachusetts, and failed to warn of known safety hazards. The lawsuit seeks compensatory damages, damages for conscious pain and suffering, and punitive damages under Massachusetts law, as well as accountability for corporate entities that the plaintiffs allege attempted to insulate themselves from responsibility through complex ownership and management structures. Yesterday, we showed you the inside of the National Assembly building as it was inaugurated with a joint sitting for the visiting president of Guyana. But today, all the doors of the National Assembly were open wide to welcome the media for a tour of the newly renovated offices, galleries, and chambers. The rebuild took many years and many millions, but like any major project, the engineers ran into many obstacles, the first being that the $1.5 million grant from the Taiwanese just wasn't enough for all that needed to be done. However, about 16 months later, the National Assembly is open once again for the parliamentarians to conduct the business of the people. Courtney Menzies was there today and has this story.
It's where Julius Aspat injured his hand when he punched the wall, where Mark King walked the gallery railing like a tightrope, and where Marcel Cardona donned a hard hat after being stoned with a wallet at the previous meeting. The National Assembly, standing tall for over 5 decades, has seen better days, and that's why in September 2024, it was closed for repairs. Over a year and $5.8 million later, it finally reopened its doors. Initially, the Taiwanese government provided a grant for $1.5 million, but MIDH's chief engineer said that from the start, they knew that wouldn't be enough.
We must bear in mind that from the onset, we knew that the project would not have cost $1.5 million. That was a grant from Taiwan. That was just an initial grant that was presented to the government of Belize from Taiwan. The original estimates was already higher than that. And so based on the works that we were able to undertake, at the end, that figure came up to $5.8 million. Basically, we had to gutted out the entire building of the National Assembly and basically reconstruct the entire interior and exterior of the building. So the price that we have at $5.8 million is more than likely adequate in terms of the square footage of the building and also the scope of works that has been undertaken within the structure itself.
So while the structure and the foundation remains the same, the interior has a fresh, more modern look while still preserving the historic features of the building. And Moody explained all the work that went into ensuring the National Assembly's functionality and efficiency.
That included the installation of new plumbing structure for the entire building, the installation of new electrical features, the installation of an elevator now so that we could meet the Disability Act requirements and also the new building code that will become effective very soon. We had to ensure that the roof structure itself was rehabilitated because we had issues with the roof itself. In terms of the interior of the building, we did not have sufficient space based on how it was originally formulated. And so we had to go back to the drawing board on many occasions to ensure that everything that is required by the Senate and also by the House is inclusive within the structure. We were able to reconstruct the entire chamber of the National Assembly. We had a number of member rooms and also committee rooms that were installed as well. The facility basically provides access to the public in terms of the galleries that were reconstructed. And we have also provided safe space and also bathrooms and other facilities for the public itself.
Modi explained that the exterior also needed a lot of work to preserve the blocks, patch up the cracks, and repair sections of the roof. But while it was a Herculean effort to restore the home of the Parliament, the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate said it was long overdue.
We're in 2026, and what we were working with, I believe Madam President can concur for the same with her experience in her chamber, was a lot of archaic equipment. Workflow was not optimal, space was not optimal. I use the restroom facilities as an example, not because I'm a woman, but just as a human being. They simply were not optimal. I think you as the media would be reminded that for you to access any restroom facility when you are on the 3rd floor, you have to go on the ground floor.
Everything starts with the legislature because that is where we make laws. The executive execute and the judiciary interpret. And we have seen significant investment in the executive branch of government in terms of infrastructure and so on. We have seen significant investment in the judiciary over the years, but we have not seen that in the legislature. So I think it's very important for us to appreciate that this really is a new era in terms of investing in an institution that really is the heart of our democracy.
And another feature that was long overdue was easier access for disabled persons.
Also the issue of accessibility. The ramps, yes, is one. The restrooms, every floor has a unisex restroom that is handicapped able now. In addition to that, you also needed to recognize that, well, you may have visitors who may need to be in wheelchairs. So some conversations were had with MIDH to ensure that on each gallery side, we allowed for 2 spaces in the first row that won't have chairs for any regular sitting, and that they are set aside and reserved for those who have those mobility issues. Yesterday, we tested the sign interpretation as another means of inclusivity, and so the TV screens that you see suspended is for the purpose, yes, of the gallery, for those who are in second, third, fourth row, but also for those who are live streaming and those in the gallery who may have hearing impairment, that they can follow along.
For the media gallery in particular, gone are the days of sitting on concrete floors and lugging around extension cords. The area has been upgraded to include desks, chairs, and multiple outlets. And of course, that means new chairs and equipment for the members of the parliament themselves. And while yesterday saw a special joint sitting, the first official House meeting will be held on Friday, where all of the new features will be fully tested. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
The public galleries are opened again, and the public is invited to experience the new environs by attending House meetings. And the man who inaugurated the building left the country today. Dr. Mohammed Arfain Ali's state visit has come to an end as the Guyanese president departed from the PGIA this afternoon. He and his delegation joined Prime Minister and other senior members of the government of Belize yesterday for courtesy visits to 4 locations in the Cayo district. The first stop was Santander Sugar Limited in the Cayo district, a key location where the Caribbean Sugar Refinery, a flagship Belize Guyana initiative, is being constructed. Both leaders participated in the ceremonial groundbreaking. They later visited Belcar in Spanish Lookout to engage in meaningful discussions about the company's beans, grains, and refined cornmeal processing, as well as opportunities for market expansion in the Caribbean. After that visit, they toured the factory operations at the Quality Poultry Products headquarters and ended the day's activities with a visit to Western Dairy's headquarters, where discussions focused on the company's dairy processing operations across Belize. Additionally, 4 MOUs were signed during his visit that impact education, tourism, investment, and defense. And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching with your news. I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Have a great night. Join me back here tomorrow at 6.